Today I have another Boombox. This is a National, looks like an RX CW26. Oh, there it is. Still got the little bits on the door. 5-band graphic equalizer, high-speed dubbing. Don't think we've got any auto reverse or anything fancy. This is another badge with RX, but this is a lower end sort of box, and that other one probably slightly earlier, I'm guessing. Not sure. But I picked this up at the same time I got that Toshiba one. It was in pretty poor condition. Ooh, looks like we've actually got an original, an original square power cord with the thinner or closer together pins, which is good because I'm not sure if a figure 8 fits in this one. I can try it like I was doing with the other one. Oh yeah, no, it is the same. Whoop, same spacing. Now I think the socket just came loose, so something's not good there. Something just made a funny springing noise. Yeah, something on that socket is loose. Looks like it's just clipped in there, but that could well be dodgy. Let's plug it in and see what it actually does. I think it's meant to be faulty in some way or other, which they usually are. Usually at least the tape decks don't work in them. Looks like it's got a line input here, which is nice to see. So it's a bit more featured than your low-end boxes. Speakers ought to be hooked up alright. Do we have a power switch or just a radio tape switch? Plenty of volume. Well, it's working roughly. I don't know what the antenna's like. It's still intact. Been having a good run with intact antennas. Might go to FM mono. Anyway, we know the FM's basically working.
Or that it's really targeted at. But if you were to do that again, would you insist that, well, if we're going to...
And I just noticed a lot of the paint's missing off this grill, but of course that can be resprayed, possibly on the box, but generally you've got to take them off. Often you can bend some metal tabs and maybe cut some glue on the back and actually get those speaker grills right off if you have to. And nothing happening there. Have I still got power? Do I still have power? Where's the volume? I think I've lost power, so that is dicky.
Right across the government.
So just like the other National, it keeps dropping power, but this time it's got the right cable, so I think we do have a loose power socket there. Shut up. Very noisy, but everything's running by the look of it, and heaps of torque on the take-up reel. Something's scraping on the capstan, I'm guessing. Now, yeah, it's probably one motor running both. I can see a belt going across, so I'd say it is. I think it's a capstan, maybe on that side. Yeah, it's that pinch roller will come up, yeah. Oh, that's not too bad. It actually seems to be running and possibly has good belts in it. But looks like we may have dicky power, and definitely what sounds like one of the capstans is noisy, so something either rubbing on it or we've got a lube issue, but that sounds to me like cables rubbing on it or the like. Oh, can I get that one off? Release is definitely that way. Oh, that's just tight. But kind of a nice little boombox. At least it's got the battery cover on this one. Ugh, cobwebs and muck everywhere. Just only a short screw, or shallow screw I should say, not a short one necessarily. Reasonably long one. I think most of these we can get with a standard screwdriver for a change. Must be getting more towards the mid-80s, I would think, with the black box. Unless National were ahead of their time a bit. I mean, they're funny, they were black in the 70s sort of thing and then went to silver. then went back to black again. And stayed black all through the 90s to the end of them, really. There's two of them. Oh, we already got one of them out, did we? Yep. So that's just one hanging in there. Is there anything down? What's down there? Almost looks like a screw, but I think that's the back of something else. It's a mounting post for the decks or something. Nice and simple and filthy, and there's a bit of a little pad out of a cassette there, although interestingly it's got paper on the back of it like it has never been stuck on, but I think that's your little felt bit out of a cassette. Oh, we've got a little brown twisted pair wire there. Oh yeah, the other ones are all twisted together, so that's a bit different. And I think the volume control and everything was actually good in this one, which is a rarity. Hopefully this is a nice quick one for a change, but no guarantees. Something's noisy, but it's actually sitting on a couple of felt pads there. I can hear something scraping somewhere. I wonder if it is just those pads. Oh yeah, now the other thing I've got to look at, where's our power supply? I think before we do anything, we'll make sure we've got good connections, because I don't want to be messing around with dry jointed power sockets and stuff. Yeah, it looks fine. It certainly isn't the most solid thing ever, but I can't see any dry joints on it. I wonder if even that plug doesn't quite fit this thing correctly. I can't see any cracks in the board. Fuse is okay. Sometimes they can be loose or something. Those back pins look alright. I might just resolder them just to be sure. Never hurts to go over them. I must make a habit of doing every boombox. I think I forgot to do it in that Toshiba one. Usually best to go over the things. But no, the transformers, about the only other place you get a dry joint is on the transformer, maybe, if things have moved relative to that. We've got battery in, power out to the box itself after it's been switched. The other possibility, of course, is something's dicky with that switch. Could be tarnished contacts in that, I guess. I wonder if we can actually get to it. I think you would clip the back bit off. I guess one thing worth looking at is why don't we pull the socket off. The other thing I want to do is find a source of replacement sockets that would, I bet there's some out there that fit straight on the board, but a figure 8. Quite likely they made them with the same footprint, same switch, same everything, but just at a different receptacle, because it'd be very good to get rid of these things once and for all out of circulation. You know, you can't see anything. You've got a clip there. Oh, the little switch part comes out. Then there's 2 clips that take this whole back off, or 3 clips. At the risk of breaking something. Probably a very high risk of breaking something. Let's see if we can get this to slide off. Probably have to prise something and keep it in there, I reckon, to... My fingernail might do for now. That bottom bit does not want to come free. Whoop, there we go. We can at least... Oh yeah, they're terrible. Tarnished Very tarnished. Now, does this... I think that other bit's loose now, so hopefully we can get that back in alright. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely tarnished. Terrible condition. How did that... That must have fitted over there as like a curved bit on that, I guess. That's going to be the next fun part, trying to get it all back together in the right way. That went like that. Yeah, I think giving those a clean up will be a big improvement. It's probably not dry joints, it's just that. Now, where did that micro scrub go? There it is. Always hiding under something. I'll at least polish up the half that's comes in contact with those other bits. Then we're going to have the fun of trying to get all this back together. So that's normally sits, maybe we have to sit it in here, I reckon. We sit it on this part. Where are the, oh yeah, the little pins go in these end bits, that's it. So that's got to sit on the end of this. Not sure I can really get in there. I think that's doing something. 3 little pins sticking out of here, and that thing just rolls. How does it actually connect? I think one of them must... It's got a piece of metal missing. Maybe one of them just disconnects. As that rotates, so I think I might need to clean a bit more of that. If that comes into contact with the other one, oh yeah, so it, in one position it looks like the middle and one side are connected, but as this thing turns over, as it pivots thanks to a cord being poked in, it's the 2 outer ones become connected. And that's exactly the bit that's tarnished the most, so that would explain why we're not getting the best contacts probably. I don't think I need to go any further than that, but that's what it pays to understand what you're dealing with. Now that should sit upwards, I believe. Now does it sit there or does it sit... Do I need to push all these contacts down? What's the bit here? That's... Oh yeah, there's little gaps there, I guess, to fit for the contacts to go through maybe. Maybe if I push on the pins, yeah, because they're sprung upwards, so the next problem is I've really got to get them sprung downwards. While I reinstall that bit. Not that easy to push them all up, unfortunately, so that's probably why you've got to take this piece out, so that you can slide it in on top maybe. Oh, is that going to work though? Or am I just making things more complicated? Yeah, maybe they do need to slide in underneath once. I reckon that's how they do it. I reckon you put this bit back together with that bit and then you slide this piece in afterwards, at a guess. Problem is you've got to bend it so far it's going to break if you're not careful. What's the bet? That's how they did it at the factory. So this... but then you got the problem the contact just falls out. Ha, brilliant. Yeah, that sits like that. Or does it? How does it pivot? We have to put that in differently, like that maybe. There's a few options here. That maybe goes that way then. Oh. Of course they press on it, that's how it comes up, because I'm thinking, well, how does it stick up? But it'd be the contacts, the springiness of that metal is what pushes it up when there's no So these are a real bit of a pain, although should I put this back? So now I know where that goes. I'm going to have to put this in, I think, to hold the... Well, now I've got them out. Let's give them a proper clean. Just make sure we got it right. Tarnish does not want to come off it. Yeah, that's guaranteed to be good now. I'm thinking I might slot them in, because you're going to have to jiggle them through those little holes. That's going to be the fun bit. Oh, I just saw them. Where'd they go? Oh, maybe I have to lift that up. Oh, here they come. Gotcha. Yeah, that's it. Literally how it works is the middle one disconnects, but as you bend it down with the power cord in, the metal comes up and joins these two and disconnects this one over this side. Now hopefully that's enough to hold everything together while I poke this bit. What's going to happen, because I've got to push that down, is it going to flick up and do anything weird? Nope. Oop, hasn't clipped on though. Guess we'd better make sure it actually works. We could just solder it in, we'll do the same thing. Which one did I say? Those two? And then that one? No. They're joined, so something's joined. Where's that cord gone? Just make sure I pull it out of the PowerPoint before I go poking it, since we've got two mains terminals sticking out. And that should change it from the outer ones. Yep, they're open to those two. Beautiful. I reckon that was our issue. Whoop. May well have been the issue on that other one, for all I know. I was just assuming it was because the cord, I was trying to fit a figure 8 into it, but I wonder if it was actually bad contacts in the switch, because that's on the low voltage side too, so it doesn't take much resistance there to mess everything up. But I just assumed, because this felt a bit loose, that it must be bad solder joints, but they were fine. So I don't think this is mechanically mounted quite as good. A lot of later ones, they put 2 screws through the holes in these or something. This just has a clip, and I think the actual board flexes just a clip on one side, which is pretty poor, to be honest. Well, there is a hole there for a screw, unless someone's taken a screw out, but I don't think so. I'll tell you what, if I can get a screw in there, I might put one. I don't know that you can. Yeah, that is just flimsy. Let's just see if a screw actually bites into that bit of plastic. Oh, it will. What if they left a screw out at the factory or something? Because that hole didn't look like anything had been in it. I just need to find a spare screw line around here. And I'm gonna put one in there. That'll be a lot stronger. And there's cobwebs everywhere in this thing. Yeah, that's what we want. Much better. There's a bit of rust down there, so it's probably just a bit tight. Right, shows how fiddly these things are. Okay, now we're kind of safe in the 240 volt section. And hopefully the switch stays connected. Looks much like a Sony TV cord, that one, so maybe it's off a Sony or something. Don't know if they use the same connectors. I think it is that thing making that noise. No, no. God, these wires aren't long enough. Let's get them out of there. Take this side off. Motor should still run. Yeah, it runs nice and quietly. So it's this capstan here, I think. Listen to it. Not happy. Okay, let's have a look, see if we can actually pull this deck off the rest. Is there a screw there? I can't see one. Oh, there it is, hiding under a capacitor. Had to be one somewhere. Oh yeah, it looks like everything unplugs. Except it's, what have they done? Glued it in there. Is that what they've done? What's the point of having a plug if you're going to glue it in place? So now I can get it out again. And it's hidden behind other connectors and stuff. Oh no, that is the other connector. Okay. That's the power. Yeah, they put some lacquer or something in there, I think. And it is a glue. Oops, I broke the pin right off. That's what you get when you glue things. Don't know that the belts actually need replacing, they're not bad at all. That one may have been getting a little bit out. Doesn't look too bad, so we've got a little pin where we've actually got a clip to hold it. There may be something underneath it, or maybe it's the bearing. I've never heard a bearing that noisy in a cassette deck normally, but get that little plastic split washer thing out of there. Where'd it go? There. Put that on the back cover there so I can find it again, or the battery cover. And that belt will be coming off. Yeah, that belt definitely looks a bit iffy, I think. I think that's just a bad bearing. That is definitely getting that sort of rubberiness to it, like it's deteriorating. So there's nothing physical under there, so it's got a little washer there, so it just probably needs lubing. That's a crazy noisy. Oh wait, I know what it is. Haha. Been here, done this before. It's this little, I think is that part of the pause or something? Yes, the little pause thing pops off, that's right. I've actually fixed these before. Not just because they do pop off and break, but they actually pop up under the capstan and rub on it. Yeah, a bit of grease there, so that's fine. Now, has it split? I think they usually split the little, yeah, it looks like it might have a split in it. Is that a split? Yeah, it's got a crack down the side of it. You can barely see, I think it does. Or is that a light? An illusion. It's usually the only way they'll come loose. You've got to shove something inside it. Oh, you know, there's definitely a split there. I need something slightly bigger to poke into it. Of course, nothing's the right size. Oh, what's this little screw maybe? If I can prise that open, it should... bit of bloody wire. Yeah, there it is. Probably impossible to see, but that screwdriver is spreading the end of it apart. All you can really do is try and glue that on there with a bit of araldite or something. And try not to get the araldite on the other part. Sometimes you just got to glue it and then fiddle the other part around to... Yeah, now it's opened up a bit. Yeah, we're just going to have to put a bit of araldite, not on the post, but actually up inside this thing, I think. Not easy to do. Or can we get it down the hole in the top? It's tiny. Here's a hole though. And that will fix it if I put that back in there now without that in there. Runs beautiful. Oh damn, I've only got the slow araldite. That's annoying. So this is going to have to be put aside for 24 hours or something. I must get some more 5-minute, I keep forgetting. Because this clear stuff's handy for certain jobs. But this is not one of them. I don't think I've got any super glue or anything here, so... This is it. But even then, probably 5 minutes, you wouldn't want to fiddle with it too soon. The problem is with this is you'll find that the glue actually acts as a lubricant. So it's going to want to come off with that spring under it, I think. And I don't really know that you can clamp that spring in some way. Actually, I should get a smaller screwdriver. That's not going to go up inside that. Good for mixing it, but not for getting it. You've got to try and get it up in here and remove anything on the outside, because we don't want it getting on. Probably the spring doesn't really matter, but we don't want it getting on that little movable piece for the pores, because you'll just glue the pores piece in place. It'll probably break off easy enough, but that's not. Got to be so careful. If it doesn't sit in there right, it'll go shooting off because of that spring. Now, how do I get that to stay there? Because it's going to want to move. So far it's been good, it hasn't moved. But it's probably best to move this thing around occasionally just to make sure you haven't glued it in place. I think that's going to stay there. What I need is something the width of that to jam it in there. That's why 5 minutes would be good, because at least you can get it to stay in place after a short period. And you don't have to assume it might slide off later. At least the weather's cold, so that's not going to move in a hurry. Or the other option is, I wonder if we can use the Capstan with something between the Capstan and it. Yeah, that only needs a thin thing, like a little thin bit of cardboard or something. I might even do that. And then I can just take the Capstan, can clip it in, and then unclip it again. See if we can clean this motor pulley as well, just the hard way. Otherwise you've got to take the motor off to do it. I think I can get enough of the cotton bud in there to do it. Now, that's the upper pulley by the look of it on this deck. At least that kit's got 3 of the belts I need. These bigger ones were pretty good, but given the age of this thing, I think the more belts I can change in these, the better, just for the sake of avoiding them going off later on. So I'm going to have to open up the other kit, I think. This eBay kit's been amazing. For $8, I must have got about $30 worth of belts out of it so far, if not more. Oh, yeah, I've already ripped the other one out of its bag, have I? That's handy. I might have already pinched something out of this one, I can't remember. I'll leave all the little ones in there. Where are we? Round those ones, I think. Yeah, that's the sort of thing. I think that might be the one. It's funny how they seem to make a lot of these tape decks with exactly the same dimensions, almost like they copied each other, but I guess when you're using standard size things with standard motors that go at a certain RPM, it's probably going to end up the same, and you've got the tape dimensions are the same. So basically your Capstan's always going to be in the same sort of spot, and the reels are in the same spot, and you've got to fit a little idler in between them. But those should be good belts, so we'll put this one, we'll chuck those other belts out of it, the originals in the rubbish. Put that to one side. I don't know if there's really much else I need to do with this. I'll get the dust out of it. We've done the power. I'll clean, I guess, the switches. Even though all the pots here, maybe the switches as well. And I think that should be a goer, so that'll be good. But we'll get back onto that once that's glue set and finish her off. Okay, I'm back on this National, what was it? RX CW26. The one that had the pause bit playing up, and yeah, that just flicked that out of the way nicely, and I had to glue a piece. Ah, where's some pliers? It doesn't want to come out, of course, it's catching on bits. I'll get my bit of cardboard out. Yeah, that seems to have glued in alright. And I kind of forget what else I had got done with this. Did I replace the belts and stuff in this? Oh, yeah, I started doing so. That's right. That's why there's a couple of belts in the bag here. So I need to get that. Can I hold that back in place? Oh yeah, that's clipped on. Yeah, I think I lubed that and put it back in and then just left it while the glue set. Are we on the pulley? I think we are. Ah, not on that one though. What are you doing? Yep, no more scraping sound because the pause thing is fixed now. That was just scraping against the capstan. And oh yeah, I can kind of get under there, can't I? Oh, what the hell do we do here? I think you need to drop that down. Ah, it's these silly foam things in the way, or rubber things, like rub against the cassette belts that just clip dust off them or something. I don't know what the point of those even is. Like little brush things that brush against it. So we should be in business. Get rid of pause. No, turning it the wrong way. Turning it the wrong way. Always the temptation is to change direction when you go and rewind, but of course the mech does that for you. Fast forward, rewind, stop, play, pause takes the pinch roller off. I guess I should double check the pause in here, since that's the one that had the faulty one. Even though I think it was still working, it just was also scraping, it hadn't come apart. So next thing I need to do is just remove all the dust that I can anyway. Dust and hairs and horrible stuff. Should really do it somewhere not that isn't the bench. And I'll give those buttons a clean here. I haven't cleaned the tape path yet. Bit of weird grease there, but the grease is still good in it by the look of it. It's not going sticky or anything. But yes, basically all these are pretty much the same process. Replace the belts, fix some other niggling little problems, clean the heads. That bit does not want to come off there. I've got it in the end. Is that an erase head? Yeah, there's a little tiny pop-up plastic erase head. This little white thing over here. It's just a little tiny magnet on a piece of plastic. And I want to get these buttons all cleaned off before I reassemble anything. Pinch roller's pretty dirty in this one. Lots of brown oxide on it. I don't really care about getting it perfect because I'm not being paid to do this. For the customer job, you normally polish them up nice. I just want to get the worst of it and any dust and stuff off, because I'm probably never going to put a tape in this one. I don't reckon this one's going to be that great a sounding unit. Might be okay. But I've got that other RX box which is much nicer and I know it sounds really good. So as long as I've got one working boombox, like one you could actually listen to, and there was a newer Panasonic one I fixed, the one with a faulty speaker and CD laser, and that's not too bad, being a bit of a newer one. And I've been giving that thing a test run and it hasn't missed a beat, so it looks like that speaker's good in it now, and the lasers kept going. God, look at this stuff. That one's going to hopefully come up fairly clean. There's a little bit left. It's a bit patchy now, but anyway, that's, like I say, I'm not going to be a perfectionist with these things. That reel's got a bit of muck on it, I'll just get off. There's dust on all the gears and everything. Try and get rid of some of the worst of it. It's obviously just sat around for ages. This one, somewhere dusty, and no one's used the tape for the look of it because the dust is all over the reels. And I want to get some cleaner and paper towel on that. Try and get all these buttons cleaned up because they are absolutely filthy and disgusting. lot easier to do while it's apart. Oh man, that's got some... So they must have used it at some stage because it's got... Well, then again, I don't know if that's finger grease or this could have been in a takeaway shop type scenario or some sort of kitchen. That buttons always seem to like to come off for me. So these ones just clip on with that little plastic bit at the top onto the metal bar. And it doesn't take a lot to break these ones. I've seen this style of button broken. It breaks a little bit where they sit on, so you've got to be a little careful even just cleaning these things. That grease is disgusting. I might even have to get the toothbrush onto that and scrub it a bit. This stuff's slowly eating it off. Yeah, that is horrible. So if you can get these chrome bits back good, it really improves the look of these things. Just makes a massive difference to the appearance. What I need to do underneath, don't know if we see any of that. That grease still isn't coming off. Might need some stronger grease remover. Now it's starting to go. Might do the ends too in case you can see them. You probably need to drop every button and do in between the buttons. I guess the toothbrush will get in there good enough. Yeah, that already looks a million times better. From some grotty old beaten up unit to getting back to showroom condition. I can always finish them off from the outside. A few scratches and stuff unfortunately, but such an improvement. That one's still a bit mucky. Might even have to get the metal polish onto it just to finish it off, because it may have eaten in a bit. Now does this fits in this half, I think. This is one of these boxes. Did we put that in first? I can't remember now. That's the problem, that's why I like 5-minute Araldite, because you can put the thing back together even if you leave it 24 hours before doing anything, but at least you can put it back together so you don't forget what you're doing. Oh, that's right, that has to be the other way to get all these plugs in, that's what it was. One of them was jammed. I think I broke the little pin off the plastic where it sat. There's an earth wire there. How does the record lever work like that? Of course these wires want to get jammed between the mech and the case. That should be about it. I think they came up there. Those came maybe through there. One black screw there, what was that out of? Sometimes you can remember where they go, but like I say, the problem with audio gear is they're all different, so it's a bit harder to remember how individual units were set up. Oh, that one's the case screw. If you put the screw in and it just drops, that means the screw comes through from the other side. Now it doesn't want to come out, it's going to make me take the mech out, aren't you? You little so-and-so. Get a screwdriver under it. It really doesn't want to come out, and now it's going to try and fall like that into the case, because that screwdriver wasn't magnetised. Where's my long one? That's another reason I have one of these really long screwdrivers, is you can pick up drop screws and stuff with them. Yeah, that I can see. Oh, they all look like they go down into the case. That's a bit weird. So that's that one. Yeah, that's a case screw. I guess that's the other way, is to look down the hole, and if you can see out the other side. Can I see out the other side of that? Then we know that they've used a case screw to hold the mech in. Well, that one's easy enough. That seemed to want to just go in that little hole on its own. I wonder if the others went through there. I can't remember. Might as well shove them through there, I guess. That went right over there by the look of it. Yeah, let's just check this record switch works. Yeah. So that presses on this switch up on the board. Can't remember if I cleaned the switches in this. Probably not. I think everything needs a squirt of contact cleaner. That can come up through there. And goes into there. That, was that the one that went under? Oh, maybe that went under. I think that might have been the case. Get out of there. Of course, you make a mistake and it doesn't want to come out again. I think that might have gone. Was that the one jammed in there? I think that was the thing I had trouble getting out. That one goes over there. And that should be it, isn't it? I think that poke down there. This one wants to get in the way. See, this is where you get problems when you put the case back together. If the wire gets there, it's going to get jammed by the screw. So that probably went in there. Don't think anything can jam anything. Where's the contact cleaner gone? We'll do the record playback switch. Lifting up the little record protection tab there so I can use the buttons to move it in and out. I can just press it. That doesn't move independent of the deck. So we've got some weird switches here. How do I get into those? I don't think I can easily. Let's see if they're bad or not, because if they're not, I'm not going to bother. Oh, I think I might have already squirted this volume control, but I could be wrong. I think that's the volume, it'd have to be. Might as well do all these. Get the whole equalizer done. Oh, they've actually got central notches, which is nice. So you know when you've got them centered, even when they're out of the cabinet like that. And your two screws in here. And was this RCA connectors or something? No, just, oh, look at the back, disgusting. See, they're always filthy. Now I've got one more screw left over. And one black one, which that black one doesn't even look like it's out of here. I can't remember if I got it out of this or somewhere else. That doesn't have one, that's in, there in. Can't remember if there's anything else unscrewed. No, it's got a line input, that's right. I guess I'll test it on its own speakers, which are still joined together via cable tie. I didn't realise that. And they still need to be cleaned up properly. No idea which side is which. Where's the black band? Black, where are you? There. Don't know if the black is positive or negative, but I just treat it as the negative. Sometimes anything that's marked is actually the positive, but as long as both speakers are in the same phase, it really doesn't matter. Okay, no idea what knob does what. Maybe I should just poke the front back on this thing, and hopefully I haven't touched the radio since I pulled it to bits. It does not want to sit in there for some reason. What's catching? Don't know, but it's fixed itself. Got tape, radio.
We've asked incredibly intrusive questions, and
It's pretty loud.
it's very clear that the Capstan, despite
FM. Yeah, that's in the wrong spot. Well, I won't worry about it just yet. FM stereo, beautiful. Ooh, that didn't sound the best at high volume. Power off tape. Be good if it ejects. We have reel and pinch roller, fast forward, rewind, reel and pinch roller. A little bit of noise still on that one. Was that the noisy one? I can't remember. Sounds like the real gears. Nice and fast forward and rewind. Clear sounding on that one. There always seems to be one of them is out on the azimuth or something. That head actually doesn't even look straight, to be honest. Can't be that far out, can it? I wonder if someone's tweaked it. I'd almost bet it'll be easier to take the front off and do it, I think. Even if they give you the little gap to get a screwdriver in, no decent screwdriver ever seems to fit. I don't know if someone's tweaked that or not, but I'll tell you what, it actually looks like it's on an angle. Yeah, it is when I look under the... Even when I look under here, you can see it's lifted up one side. So someone's been at it, I'm guessing. So much better. Yeah, that's running well. I guess we should check everything. Yeah, helps if you push it in there properly. Let's do some illegal dubbing here. Sorry, Brian, but I'm stealing your music. Maybe not that song though. Well, it's got search of some sort. Sounds a little bit like there's some wow there. Let's see. Looks like you can fast forward. This must have been the one with the something about music search on it. Yeah, maybe it's still not it. I saw one and I noticed it had something about music search. I thought I didn't try that. Maybe that was that Toshiba one. Now, do we need to do anything special at high and normal speed? I assume we just hit pause record on that. Yeah, that seems to work, and if we go to high speed dubbing, I think that was that switch. Yeah, it should be. Oops. That's about the only value of that. It was a bit of a novelty as kids to run at high speed. At least the copyright shouldn't get that. I wonder if we can... Yeah, a bit of wow in it. Yeah, definitely got some wow. I think the quality is about the same. At least Brian doesn't have to worry about us stealing his music because it's so full of wow, it's no good anyway. But it seems to sound about the same on high speed and low speed. This is not the greatest sounding deck, but not too bad. Probably wants a new motor in it. But it works, that's the main thing that I care about, and I'm probably going to have to spend a little bit of time cleaning this thing up. Don't know if we can save these labels on the front. I think they're stuck on by hardly. Oh, there's a little daub of something there. Interesting. Might be able to lift them up and clean out underneath them, but they're pretty filthy. A lot of dust. Might even brush out with a bit of luck. At least they should have protected the fronts. They do look completely scratch free. That one is anyway. So that's one good thing about leaving these labels on. These people's fingernails and stuff haven't scratched out a little. Actually, that one does have scratches, so something's been up under there. And I think I'm even just rubbing my skin on there seems to be putting little fine scratches. That's unbelievable. But I'm gonna have to give this. I think this front should come up pretty good. Just look at the doors. Oh, why is that not working? Have a quick look at what it comes up like. All the back and stuff's gonna have to be clean. There's dust in every nook and cranny, as is usually the case. God, I can't get my fingernails under this silly stuff. See if we can clean out the worst of the muck. There's actually more scratches on the labels than there are on the doors. Well, look at it. Or at least the bit underneath them. That stuff is not really coming off. Whatever those marks are. The top of the doors is filthy. Inside the doors is absolutely disgusting. Look at the stuff in the bottom. There's another one of those little foam pads out of a tape. This almost wants hosing down this thing. Oh, and I've got to make sure I turn the... It should be around 88, 87, 8 I think that radio station's on, and it was coming up above 88, so that must have moved a bit. Considering I just chucked this whole piece on the floor and left it there and then knocked it over a couple of times, I think it's no wonder. Ah, see, that's even just doing that's moving it, or trying to. Luckily my hand's holding it a bit. But a lot easier to clean this when you don't have graphic equalizers, pots and knobs and switches and stuff sticking through. In a way. But that's already coming up quite a bit better, but it's still a bit weirdly dull in places too. Maybe that's just how the finish is on this thing. And just remember to put that back where it should go, about there. Got some weird white stuff on it there. But sometimes even those marks you can either get metho or polish it off with a bit of metal polish or something. Sometimes it's just embedded and you might have to polish it a bit, but you should be able to get rid of it. And again, I'm moving that radio dial, I think. It really doesn't want to go back where it should. Can I get in the back of these doors? The whole doors are just filthy, every inch of it. I don't know how these things get so bad, but like I say, probably get used in a shed or something. But it shows how much time you waste just trying to get a boombox back to mint condition, or close to it. Even that knob's got stuff all over. I might wind that round so I can clean it right off. God almighty, because that's, yeah, it does stick through enough to see it, I think. Back below 88. Can I actually put this back together now, please? Still one bit I've missed. It's along those bits under the buttons. It just doesn't end. And yeah, the bit between the doors wants doing really. I think I've got most of the doors clean. There's still a bit of muck on them. And along under the door there. I can do that without scraping it with a screwdriver. Oops, nearly did then. There's lumps and stuff everywhere on these doors. It just doesn't want to come off. And inside the doors, there's still stuff down the bottom here that's dirty. Does the deck cover that? I don't think it does. Almost need to take the doors off this thing, I think, and clean the front panel underneath them, but I think it'll be alright. It's the worst of it. I'm probably never going to look in there anyway, but I bet this has moved again. Of course it has. That front's pretty good. Let's get it back together. Oh, I did have the issue of a screw or two loose or left over. I screwed the power supply back in. No idea, unless they were ones I picked up off the bench, but one of them does look like it's out of this machine. And a little paper off it. Well, it certainly looks better than it did. Now let's get this thing back together. And then I've just got a little bit of muck on the back to clean. And one of the speakers we'll have a look at, because it needs possibly a respray of the metal grill. I don't know whether that'll come off or not, but you can just remove the speaker and spray through and it'll probably be right. Oh, look at the muck down that screw hole. My God, what the... Something's been living in there. A spider or something. Oh, look at it. Looks like it probably ate a moth or something in there as well. And looking at all the dust. So another sign that it's definitely been in a shed or something. But some people's houses are like that inside too. So I don't know for sure. I have a battery cover, I think. Good. Although we better clean that out. Oops, and there's the battery spring. I think they tune them a bit better, so they sound a bit better. It's already looking a heap better than it did. And around the speaker terminals, got to be careful of them, they can break if you're not careful. Just every surface, well, I guess not every surface, the back itself isn't that bad, but it has a bit on it. But that's got to be 20 years worth of dust on that thing, at least. Oh, get it out, it's just everywhere. Try and get those little pieces out where the battery door goes. And when I see a bit, there's a bit in here seeing the slot there. Just so much effort to get them clean. And all along under the antenna, look at that. And of course that'll come the other way. Yuck. Disgusting. prices some of these tip shops are asking for these things, and they don't even clean them. They just leave them in the original filthy condition. Even the ones they're signing as good. So you've got another $50 worth of labour to clean the things. So they're not always a very good price, some of these things, but these ones I think I got pretty cheap because they're not working. But even so, like I say, it's a ridiculous amount of labour to clean them. It's not really, even at current prices, economical hardly to fix them and clean them and sell them again at a profit. I mean, you definitely make a profit, but quite a bit of labour that you could put into earning money elsewhere. But when they're for your own collection, you don't mind so much. But I would have definitely had enough of Boomboxes by the time I get the last one of these ones. I've still got, I don't know how many to go. It must be close to another 10 of the things, so just keep. And there's still a couple I haven't even found. I don't know where they are. It's got like grease or something on there. Yeah. I wonder if that's actually a lubricant they used on the handle. I doubt it, but I don't know where else it would have come from. There's a little slot there that's all full of greasy stuff too. Well, this one was the one that had the greasy button, so it could well have been a like I say, kitchen or takeaway store, and it would have been up on a shelf somewhere or something. That's why it never got cleaned. Probably up high out of the way somewhere, and they just turned the power switch on and let the radio run or something. That's what used to happen with a lot of them, and they just sat there for 20-30 years. The belt's slowly decaying in the tape deck, but otherwise they just went and went and went. Very rare the radios ever fail on these things. You'd be super unlucky to find a faulty radio unless it's been hit by lightning or something crazy, or some other physical damage. They just, I don't think I've ever seen a radio on one of these things that didn't work. Sort of take it for granted that they're going to be working every time. There's only that one I had that the stereo light didn't seem to want to come on, but it didn't pick up the best anyway, so who knows if it was actually faulty or just not a very good receiver. But yeah, I've been lucky, only one antenna to throw in the rubbish so far because it was too short and broken, and so I guess in a way those antennas used to cost up around $10 each, I think, so if you pay $20 for one of these, it's not the worst value on earth just for parts. And that's just to get it roughly clean. It's still far from mint condition and far from what I would consider saleable. But I mean, it is an old unit now, I guess. And that, I was looking at that handle, could do with a scrub along the top there. Always got filth in those little slots. Just people's hands wrapping around them. I'm trying to get all of that grease off and dust out of there. This one's not going to come up mint, but the way I'm thinking of displaying them, you won't see much of it anyway. I just more or less want them sort of stacked on top of each other, either on shelves or on top, actually literally on top of each other. But the other way I thought is you could hang these things up by their, if you made brackets or something, you could hang them by their handles. It would look kind of cool, because then you get the handle look as well. And we've got to look at, oh, I've got to cut that cable tie off. These speakers are also filthy on the back, so you look at the cobwebs and stuff. Yeah. Made an interesting noise. Sounded like a dying dog or something. Okay. Let's try and get this front bit, because because that is disgusting. Looks, just ruins it with that dust there. They're certainly very ghetto looking, ghetto blasters, these ones. And then it's all in where the tweeter goes. These have got these interesting little metal plates. Well, it might have been the other Panasonic. Was that the one with the metal plates for the tweeter? Probably was. Or national, I should say. These are a national era. At least in Australia. I don't know if Panasonic used their brand name earlier in some countries, I think. Well, we still had National as a well-known brand, so they stuck with that, I think. Because it was a pretty popular brand, because it was known for, especially with making these sort of portable audio devices. Like I said, it made really good radios and stuff. And yeah, the televisions were popular too. I know we owned, I think, 3 national televisions. One sort of died of old age, or worn out tube, or getting worn out. The TV was still running. And a couple of newer ones that got basically thrown out working due to obsolescence, but I wish I'd kept those now. Bit of red stuff, but this has got paint missing everywhere. Looks like you've got to unclip this a bit. There are your screw. So let's see, can we get that off there? And I've missed a bit along here too. God, there's just endless amounts. That's actually got a bit of paint missing too. But that could have the old, I should clean it first. Of course it's gone again. Where's my marker pen gone? The old Sharpie fix, or other similar, does sort of show up a bit on there, but it's probably going to be better than actual lacquer paint. Oops. Sometimes you could do the old finger smear trick, but of course first time someone cleans up with a bit of methylated spirits type stuff, it'll all just come off. So I do not recommend doing that before you sell something to someone, because they will find out as soon as they go to clean it. But for your own stuff, it's sometimes a good way just to patch up a few scratches. I could do the same on the grills of this, I guess, but cobwebs. Oh yeah, it does have the big plate sort of design with an extra tiny piezo on it, so that must have been something they came up with. Dust. And where's the grill? I can't see the grill. Usually they poke through. I might not be able to risk it to this, but I can. Oh, that's all like melted onto the plastic. There's actually something living in there. Get out of there, you little web weaving mongrel. That'll be the culprit of making all the mess everywhere. Can't imagine they caught a single thing to eat in this. Interesting, no little bit where the wires come through. How'd they manage that? At least I'll get the dust out of here. Oh my god, the dust in here is terrible. Oh, the wire's actually interesting. It's amazing all the little soldering irons are on. Little quirks of technology, you see, but the wires come up, and instead of going through the paper in and then under the dust cap down those little bits of glue, they just go into the voice coil, sort of on the little former bit where that other bit of stuff under here, the little sort of suspension thing is. I don't know why that wasn't a more popular way to do it, but it's got the little Matsushita symbols. Definitely got a Panasonic type part number, that EAS thing, 3 ohms, so they're pretty low resistance. I wonder why they didn't do that more often. Maybe they experimented and the experiment didn't work. Red in the centre. You've got to be careful of those piezos, they're easy to damage basically the little solder blob will rip off the back, and then you can't always get it to go back on. Yeah, the dust just vacuumed in here too. So this must be just like edge glued, I guess. Okay, I've got the speaker back in there. Let's get this tweeter reconnected. Get that back together, that'll do for now, I think. At least I know that you can't easily get it apart. Okay, that one's done. Nothing more to do there. Looks a bit better, you can still see a bit of marks and a bit of pen. And this still needs a clean. You can't really see the dust in there at least. These could almost do with a bit of metal polish to clean the plastic off a bit. It's a bit scratched around these front bits. Yeah, stuff doesn't come off, it's just scrape. Oh, does it? Mostly just scrape marks, I think. Can't see that side anyway, so that doesn't matter. On the bottom you don't see, but yuck, that is disgusting. Great big fluff balls coming off the thing. Okay, that's that done. Is that on? Doesn't look right. I think it is though. That must be it. Yeah, amazing how many of these have detachable speakers too. They must have told me the people just kept more of them because they were more expensive, or they sold so many of those ones, don't know. I think I've done more detachable ones than non-detachable. I guess all this era were probably mid-80s, were probably all detachable speakers, might be what it is. Or mid to late 80s. At least on these medium and larger boxes, I guess. While the little ones, the little minis probably stayed without detachable, and that's it. So there's still some dirt on the socket thing there, and in the socket thing there. Guess we better do a final test. And yeah, I think that that plug is a lot better, and I don't think we've had any issues. Better check it, I guess. Where's the radio? Oh, we're on radio. Ooh, volume's going to flat out. We don't want that. No, wait, we're on tape. Yeah, that doesn't play up anymore. That was an issue with it. Oh, did I get the dial right? Is the next thing?
Switched on theatre from childhood. That's not the kind of childhood or adolescence I had. It really wasn't until...
That's pretty spot on. That all seems good. Oh, that's still a bit dirty. God, you can never truly rid them of the dirt, it seems. Still brown stuff coming off. And yeah, the scratches and everything, well, that's never going to go. But that's looking a lot better than it was. I mean, that's kind of respectable. Seems like some people even make fake ones of these. Well, I guess we should call them reproduction ones of these labels that they came with. I would like to get rid of these, but I might leave them on there for now. It adds a little bit of colour to the unit. That should all be a go now, so thanks for watching.